Hi, and welcome to our video. We're six students from la Universidad de la Sabana, and today we're gonna give you a quick but substantial review about five video games. The Escorpio Productions team is formed by
Verónica Bahamón Ariza,
Juan Pablo Vázquez Quintero,
Lucía Rufini,
Santiago Villabona Orozco,
Javier Fernando Valencia Hernández.
And finally, my name is Valentina Linares Chang, and we all are in the 8th semester of Audiovisual Communication at la Universidad de la Sabana. So let's get to it.
If I'm being honest, I'm not a gamer. I have played very few games and very informally. Most of my friends actually are gamers, so they have tried to get me to play games like League of Legends, Valorant, and others. But the only one that I actually played and enjoyed was Fall Guys. The game consists on racing against other 59 players to classify for another minigame. The game was developed by Mediatonic, which is responsible for other games like Gears Pop and Yahtzee with Buddies, but none as successful as Fall Guys. It was launched in August 2020 for Windows and PlayStation. It is a very different approach to Battle Royale, also being a multiplayer platform game. I do not need skills to kill others, but to survive and race. Although pushing another guy to the abyss sure helps me win. As every game, the concept changed a lot from the original concept. For example, it was going to have 100 players on each match, but it was reduced to 60. Also, its characteristic chaos came from the decision to make 50% ability and 50% mess. The game looks like it's targeted for young audiences because of the sausage-like kind of characters and skins. Nonetheless, it has been successful among all ages. This is because it's not only fun, it is funny in general. Seeing a short-legged character fall along with the funny squeaky noise takes away the frustration of not getting to the end of the line on time. It is classified as E on ESRB, which means for everyone to play. The characters are funny and have colorful and creative types of skins. The general texture of the world is shiny the way a playground at a kid's party is. The enemies are the characters against themselves, because they compete against time, the scenario, and other players, but not real enemies with backstories. There are 36 different levels that consists of race, teams, survival, and final. Each one of them eliminates a certain amount of players so the others continue the competition. The main mechanics are jumping, falling, moving side to side, pushing, and grabbing. With these ones, the player avoids obstacles, holds on to platforms, and pushes other players to the sky. The keyboard controls are a little more difficult for casual players like me, with no practice in the gaming world, but the PS controllers are easier to get used to. The aesthetic of shiny short-legged beans makes me want to play many matches in a row, but not everything is perfect. I guess this happens in a lot of games, but I came across a couple of hackers that could actually fly. This takes away a lot of the fun because it's anti-competitive, but I know it's not the developer's fault, so I give the game an 8 out of 10.
Metal Slug 3 is a run-and-gun video game that was launched first in Japan on the 1st of June of 2000. It was originally launched on the Neo Geo console and in arcades, but it has been relaunched in almost every popular console since then, even on the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Android. According to the ESRB, it's a category teen. The target audiences of the game has changed since its launch. Owed to the change of hardware at the beginning, it was teens and young adults that regularly went to arcades. The game is really hard, so the players had to use a lot of coins to try to pass the game, and that was one of the main objectives of the companies at the time. After the arcade era ended, the target audience became adults that played the game back in the arcade days, and also teenagers and young adults that wanted a really hard and challenging game. In this case, the company wanted to use the nostalgia factor, and also showed the newcomers how difficult and charming this game was. The developers of the game are SNK Corporation, a legendary Japanese company of video game software and hardware. Their most popular times were the 80s and 90s. After the late 90s, SNK started to decline. At the end of 2001, SNK filed for bankruptcy. After many years of doubt, SNK was revived in 2003 as SNK Play More. They relaunched many games on new consoles, and with this, they started to revive their name. After the 2010s, they started to make again new original games. At the beginning, only mobile games, and later making new entries on legendary games like Samurai Showdown and the King of Fighters. On Metal Slug 3, we have a really simple and straightforward story. We have to choose one of 4 soldiers: Theo, Eri, Marco, or Tarma. They are the Peregrine Falcon Strike Force. They have to defend the world of the evil General Morden, and also of aliens, UFOs, zombies, and all kinds of weird creatures. The gameplay mechanics are basic. We have a 2D environment, so we can go forward, backwards, jump, and crouch. And we use 3 buttons only: A for shooting and melee attacks, B for jumping, and C to throw a grenade. With the joystick, we move and also point the gun. It's a really hard game, sometimes in my opinion unfair. We die only with 1 shot, the pattern of the enemies is almost random, and the boss fights are super hard. There are 5 levels, but they come packed with a lot of content, like 14 paths on each part of the level. A lot of parts in the level are destructible, and this reveals sometimes power-ups and extra items. And also the prisoners of war, that when the player frees them, they always give us different items and power-ups. On the first level, we encounter a beach environment, and our enemies are mainly some crab monsters and rocks flying monsters. The final boss is a giant crab with guns mounted in his back. It's an amazing first level. It teaches the basics, what to avoid, what to destroy, and how hard the game can be. The second level, it's a nightly jungle, and the enemies are zombies. Here, they show the players the different interactions that they can have, like when we're attacked by zombies, we become a zombie, we don't die. The boss fight is 6 giant aliens floating and shooting laser beams. And on the story, it shows that aliens are involved with the plan of General Morden. On the third level, it's a water level, so the movement changes. Here, the game takes a different approach to movement and shows how different each level is. The enemies are submarines and scuba divers with guns, but at the end of the level, we enter to a huge factory environment and we face the final boss, that it's a giant robot. The fourth level is a desert environment, where we can use a camel with guns mounted as our vehicle. First, we have to fight against the usual General Morden soldiers, but then we have to go up in a pyramid while we kill some giant carnivorous plants. And then, the final boss is a giant ancient alien statue. The fifth and last level is the lengthiest and the hardest one. They give us first an airplane or an helicopter, and we go from the sky to jungle and then the space. Here, the game shows to the player every interaction vehicle and gun that we can use. Also, the soldiers of General Morden help us to defeat the aliens, because they kidnapped the general and wanted to kill everyone on the planet. The final boss is a huge, grotesque alien. It's a really challenging level, but at the same time stupidly fun, like all of the game. And it's an amazing ending on an epic, weird, and challenging adventure. My score for this game is 9 out of 10.
League of Legends is an online multiplayer game created by Riot Games. Riot Games is a company founded in 2006 by Brandon Rice Beck and Mark Tryndamere Merrill. They were 2 college students who had a project in mind. They founded a studio mainly composed by interns and people passionate about video games. The studio was very small but kept growing with the game they have created, League of Legends. Nowadays, Riot Games is a very successful company owned by Tencent with an enormous muscle on esports and expanding their universe with League of Legends-based games such as Teamfight Tactics, Wild Rift, and League of Legends Esport Manager. Riot Games have had become a growing empire, exploring other genres with Valorant, a first-person shooter, and they have already announced a fighting game, MMORPG, hack and slash, and even more. League of Legends was first announced on October 7th, 2008. They first intended that the game was going to be an addition to the already existing Warcraft 3 mod, Defense of the Ancients, or for short, Dota. They officially released the game a year later on October 27th, 2009. The game was initially released for Windows, but later they created a version for Mac OS. The game is mainly targeted for a young but not too young audience, mainly teenagers between ages 15 to 18. rated by ESRB with a teen rating. Riot is constantly trying to produce attractive content for this kind of audience, collaborating with already known figures such as Imagine Dragons, Zed, and even with a brand as Louis Vuitton. Also, not too long ago, released a K-pop band of their own known as KDA and based on League of Legends characters. Today, more than 10 years later, the game has about 115 million monthly player count. 115 million. To put this on perspective, this is more than the population of France, Spain, and Uruguay together. But what has kept this game on the top for so long? Let's talk about its gameplay. League of Legends is part of the MOBA genre, which stands for Multiplayer Online Battle Arena. It is a real-time strategy game that consists of a group of 10 players divided by 2 teams of 5 players each. They play on a standard map that has 3 main lanes. Each player can use one character and they must face off with the objective of destroying their foe's nexus, located in each base. It sounds simple, right? Well, here is where it begins. The game has a simple premise, but it's covered in layers and layers of content. Runes, characters, items, roles, game queues, everything allows the player to choose any kind of game style they prefer and lets them personalize their experience as much as possible. This is where I find one of the main reasons of its success: its variability. One match will never be the same as the previous match. You have as much options as you want to try, and it's on your own hands to do it. Since League of Legends is a game that has been around for over a decade, it has too many content. For that reason, we're going only to focus on the main mode and map of the game, which is basically what League of Legends is. Now, I want to go and play a match. What should I know? First, the map. As mentioned before, there is one standard map where you will play all of your games. The map's name is Summoner's Rift. The map has 3 main lanes and a jungle. The players will be distributed in the following order. 1 will go to the top lane, 1 on the jungle, 1 on the mid lane, and 2 on the bot lane. This for both teams. Each lane must accomplish a specific role depending on the character you choose. There are 140 playable characters that you can choose. All of them have a specific role, which can be any between assassin, marksman, tank, fighter, support, and mage. Each role has some specific lanes where they can go. On the mid lane you will mainly find assassins and mages. On the top lane you will find tanks and fighters. On the jungle you can find tanks, fighters, mages, and assassins. And on the bot lane there will always be a marksman and a support or mage. Now let's enter a game. Now we will see the champion select screen. There is a list with all of the 140 playable characters. You can choose a character mainly by its looks or its playability. Every character has something to offer. All of them have 3 main abilities, Q, W, and E, an ultimate ability, R, and a passive. You use these keys to throw your abilities and you can move around the map with the right click of your mouse. Each character's kit is unique. You can be ranged or melee. Some characters can be easy and some can be skill expressive, and each one of them present you a specific way on how to play the game. Since it's impossible to cover all the 140 character abilities, let's show what we have to be talking about with this character. Senna is a marksman. She's ranged character and goes to the bot lane. This is her abilities. Her Q is a laser that will damage my enemies and heal my allies. Her W is a projectile that, if hits your enemies, will damage them and immobilize them for a short moment. Her E is a veil that covers her and any ally near her, granting them invulnerability and movement speed. Her R is a laser that covers all the map in any direction you choose, damaging enemies located at the center and granting a shield to all allies at the borders of the laser. Finally, her passive is that any monster or minion killed near her has the chance of dropping a soul. Senna can collect these souls and increment her stats during the game, making her an excellent character around the late game of the match. Both characters present completely different kits and ways to play the game. They can combo their own abilities to get a better result or even combo their abilities with their teammates. This is what makes League of Legends so appealing to many players. It presents many and many possibilities just by the character abilities. Okay, let's select our character or champion. Now we're ready to go, right? Not yet. The characters themselves are not the only thing that can affect your gameplay and can personalize your experience. Every character in the game has statistics, or for short, stats. Just to mention a few, the main stats that you can see are ability power, attack damage, attack speed, movement speed, ability haste, and life steal. All of these stats have an impact on the player's character and how he plays the game. Every character has some base stats, making them perform better at some things. These stats can be changed and improved to make your character stronger and progress during the match. Many things can affect your stats. We've already spoken about one of them. Abilities is one of those things that can change your stats. It can do it temporarily or for the whole game. Just as we saw with Senna's E and passive, where the E temporarily changed her movement speed and her passive let her increase her stats for the whole game. There is also something called runes. Runes can also change the gameplay of the player, stats of the character, and are a core part of the game. Runes are basically a set of extra things that you can add to your character. Now it's the moment to choose our runes. Runes grant extra abilities such as slowing your opponent with your attacks, harvesting your enemy's souls to grant your power at the latest stages of the game, or just give you some extra speed or damage. There are 5 branches where you can choose your runes. You can use one main branch and a secondary branch. Each branch is mainly focused on 5 roles: marksman, mage, support, tank, and assassin. Even though every character can use any branch in an effective way. Once that you have chosen your runes, the only thing before heading into the Summoner's Rift are the Summoner spells. Summoner spells are extra abilities for every character. There are multiple options and some won't work better depending on the character you choose. You can have a maximum of 2 Summoner spells and they will be located on the D and F key of your keyboard. You can activate it by pressing these buttons. Some options of the Summoner spells that you can have, just to mention a few, are Flash, which teleports you to a short distance. This is the most common one and it's very useful for almost every character of the game. There is also Heal, which heals you. There is also a Teleport that can be used on anywhere on the map, or Smite, which deals high quantities of damage to monsters of the jungle. Now that we have set everything on the champion select screen, we're ready to head into the Summoner's Rift. Let's remember that our objective is to destroy the enemy's nexus located on the based opponent. Before heading to the nexus, we must destroy towers that protect their base and overcome the opponents without them being able to destroy our base and nexus. To defeat our enemies and prevent them to destroy our base, we need power. This is why stats are so important. Upgrading your stats will make your character stronger and will grant you the victory. We already know 2 ways on how to improve your stats, abilities and runes. Now let's talk about the third and most important one, items. League of Legends has a store where you can purchase your items. There are about 175 items that can be purchased. All of them will grant you stats, some of them have passive or active effects. Every character has a maximum of 6 items that they can purchase plus 1 free item called Trinket, which will help you with the vision on the map. The items are purchased with gold. Gold is the main currency of the game. You can get gold mainly by killing your opponents or farming. The game is constantly releasing some small fighters called minions that will go to every lane. They will help you destroy the enemy base and fight the enemy. Minions come from both teams, and if you give the last hit to any enemy minion, you will earn a small amount of gold. This is called farming. This is what the earliest stages of the game is all about. You will face off your lane opponent, you got to farm as much as you can at the same time and try to deny farm to your opponent. Both players will try to kill each other, meanwhile keeping their farm. This is a way you can get a gold lead and, for instance, get more items, be stronger, and start getting an advantage. There are many things around the map. Objectives are basically those things laying on the map that will grant you a reward and, for instance, advantage on the match. Objectives will grant you buffs that will improve your stats, give you an extra power, and or provide you gold, making them the fourth way in which you can change or improve your stats. The most common objectives are the towers that you need to go through before reaching the enemy nexus. Taking them down will provide gold to the team who destroys them. There are also monsters around the jungle that will provide buffs, golds, and benefit to the team that takes them down. Making objectives around the map will grant you an important advantage and will eventually lead you to the desired victory. Objectives will also give you an important amount of experience. Experience will make your character level up. Every character starts being level 1. Your stats are low and you can only learn one of your character's abilities. It's possible to make your level go up in the same way you can get gold. This means that you get experience from farming, killing your enemies, or making objectives. Leveling up will upgrade your character and will increase its base stats, making this the fifth and last way on how you can improve your stats. Leveling up will also let you upgrade and learn your character's abilities. As said before, on level 1 you can only learn one ability. Every level you go up will grant you an ability point. You can invest your ability points by upgrading your abilities or learning the abilities you cannot use yet. Every ability can be leveled up 5 times, except the ultimate ability that can only be leveled up 3 times, at level 6, 11, and 16. There is a maximum of 18 levels. Since the match ends when any of the 2 nexuses are destroyed, the match can last between 15 to 50 minutes or more. So your character can go all the way up to level 18 or end the match being basically any level. Taking all these things into account and combining all the mechanics and advantages that the game provides you, winning will be as easy as a piece of cake. This gives us a general understanding of what League of Legends gameplay is. In addition to this, the game is constantly being updated. The game is not even remotely close to look like the game it was 10 years ago. It has evolved and kept fresh during the years, but keeping its own essence, which isn't an easy task at all. There are other things that are undeniably part of its success, including its art. It's a beautiful game and every character and bit of it has a charm that easily can hook many people. It's a game that has a lot to offer to its players. It's a free game and can provide thousands and thousands of hours of entertainment without spending a dime. Its gameplay is strong and has many mechanics that can be used. The design of some characters and items can be questioned, but being a game that has so much content to it, it's understandable. Its art style is pretty attractive and feels very polished. With that said, we decided to give League of Legends a rating of 9 out of 10.
The game Among Us. The game Among Us was created by Innersloth, a small video game developer founded by Forrest Willard and Marcus Bromander in 2014. The game was released in June of 2018, but it didn't become successful until 2019, when a British streamer talked about it in one of his YouTube videos. The game became more popular in Europe and then in the rest of the world. In 2020, thanks to the pandemic, the game reached its highest level of popularity, and nowadays it has been downloaded more than 3.5 million times. The genre of the game is social deduction and party. The target audience of the game are kids and young adults from 11 to 24 years old. This game is for people that like multiplayer modality and don't want commitment with the game. It's just for fun and for spending time with other people. This game is available for PC, Nintendo Switch, and mobile, and in 2021 it will be available for Xbox One. The rating of the game on ESRB is for 10 years old and more, thanks to its fantasy violence and small presence of blood. Depending on which console you're playing, the controls may vary. If you're going to use the PC, you're going to use your keyboard for moving, killing, reporting a body, and sabotaging, and your mouse for accomplishing the tasks. In Nintendo Switch, you're going to use your left analog stick to move, your plus button to switch the cursor, and the screen for accomplishing the tasks. Meanwhile, in your cell phone, you're going to use all the buttons in screen. The game consists of two main characters, the crewmates and the imposter. They all look the same, but the player can change the character's name, color, and even add accessories like hats, skins, and pets to personalize it. The mechanic of the game consists of 4 to 10 crewmates that are trying to get safe to civilization, but one of them is an imposter, an alien that is trying to sabotage the mission. To accomplish the mission, the crewmates must solve all of the tasks before the imposter kills them or sabotages them. The task consists of throwing garbage, connecting wires, filling test tubes, among others. Through the game, there will be meetings to evaluate the situation and try to figure out who is the imposter. The crewmates will be able to eject players that they consider is the imposter. The imposters, in the other hand, have to sabotage the crewmates, and they can do this by cutting the oxygen, turning the lights off, and sliding through the ventilation, and of course by killing them whenever they cross each other. This game has no levels, but it has 3 main maps that you can explore. The scale is the main map and is the most symmetric. It has 14 rooms, 5 tasks for the crewmates to solve, and 4 sabotage points for the imposters to sabotage the rest of the crew. Mira HQ is a little bit smaller. It has 12 rooms, only 1 task, and 3 sabotage locations. The Polis map is the biggest. It has 15 rooms, 2 tasks, and no sabotage locations, which means the imposter only has to kill to sabotage the rest of the crew. Among Us has been a revolutionary game even though it didn't start quite well. The moment it was launched wasn't the best, but thanks to the pandemic, people found in Among Us a place to connect with other people and to get entertained and distracted. Another characteristic that gives the game a lot of positive points is the idea of not being serious. This means that the main idea of the game isn't to win prizes or level up. Whenever you join the game, you look forward to have fun with your friends, not only by getting the tasks done or sabotaging the rest, but most importantly to spend quality time with them. A very important factor of the game is the relationship between players. Of course, a lot of people joined the game and played in strangers' account, but we think that the main reason that this game has become a hit is because people complement the game by talking through Discord or Zoom or any other platform, and this definitely has added a lot of experience to the game. For these reasons, we gave this game 9 points.
Take flight. Smoke's down.
Valorant, it's a tactical shooter available only for Windows, developed by the massive Riot Games. This game follows the method of Riot's gigantic success League of Legends, by being a highly competitive teamwork-based multiplayer video game. Valorant was launched on June 2 of 2020, and it rapidly became a high success in the competitive scenario of tactical shooters. Riot's 10-year experience with League of Legends helped them to rapidly build a gigantic community of players, content creators, and pros that moved around the game and helped it grow very quickly.
Oh, Asuna! He gets the triple off the rocket. It's the 4th kill. He's working on the ace. Asuna, absolutely monstrous performance there on short A, looking for the last...
On Riot's 10-year anniversary in 2019, Valorant was announced by the name of Project A, and its beta was launched on April 7, 2020. The game started developing in 2014, along with several projects Riot have on the way. As a tactical shooter, Valorant gameplay is focused on a slow and very analytical gameplay. This gameplay subtracts characteristics from various games from the genre, such as Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six, and Ghost Recon. The gameplay consists of 2 5-player teams attacking and defending, that must face each other during several rounds until one of them wins 13 rounds. This round consists of the attacking team attempting to plant a bomb called Spike in one of the designated spots on the map and defend it until it explodes, or killing all the defenders before the time is up. In order to win, the defenders must kill all 5 attackers before they plant the spike, or defuse it before it explodes after being planted. When the first 13 rounds are played, both teams swap roles until a winner is set. If they tie 12 to 12, the match will enter in overtime, where both teams will alternate roles until one of them wins by a difference of 2 points. Another vital mechanic during the match is economy. You will start the match with a single pistol and no abilities. A huge variety of weapons and abilities can be bought with currency you will receive after each round. The amount of currency you receive after the next round depends if you are winning or losing, the amount of kills you do, and the performance your team is having along the match. One of the main characteristics of Valorant is the characters you can choose to play with. Each one of those have a different set of abilities that works for a huge variety of functions. At the moment, there are 14 agents you can choose to play with, but you must choose who you are going to play with very wisely. Agents are organized in 4 main categories. Duelists are very aggressive agents, aimed for a very offensive type of player. Duelist abilities are aimed for fast elimination and focus on individual gameplay. Controller mechanics are aimed, as their name indicated, to control areas of the map using smokes and areas of damage to block enemies' vision and mobility. Controllers are used to help their team access a site or blocking the enemies for entering. Initiators use their abilities to obtain and deny information and prepare their team's next move by giving them vision and concussive entrances. Sentinels are the eyes and ears of the team. Their abilities are mainly focused on utility, granting vision and information of enemy team moves, and also helping their teammates by using heals and slows to help them escape from difficult situations. At the moment, there are 5 maps in Valorant. The map in which you can play at the moment of entering a match is randomly chosen. Each map has different characteristics that adjust to different types of gameplay, ones being more open, others having more verticality. All maps have the identical characteristics of a tactical shooter map, including great verticality, a lot of corners, close turns, bottle caps, etc. The high competitiveness of the game lays on its ranked mode. The ranked mode system on Valorant consists of winning matches to win points and reach a higher rank until you get to the highest rank, Radiant. Even though Ranked is the Valorant main's game mode, it's not the only one. You can also enjoy matches without affecting your rank by playing unrated, or you can play a very fast-paced match with special power-ups by playing a Spike Rush. Or either you can enter a free-for-all battle royale where you can't use abilities and the winner is the one that gets 40 kills first. Valorant is a very recent game that has grown in a very massive way. It has everything a game needs to stay for a long time in circulation, and Riot has the intentions to expand it even more with time. Its gameplay is very tactic and organic, and the diversity of maps and agents make it very dynamic. The only problem is that it has some downsides when it comes to hacker and player misbehavior, but Riot has stated that it's working on fixing these problems as soon as possible. This is why I give Valorant a solid 9 out of 10.
Thanks for watching, and we hope that you enjoyed our video. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and give us a thumbs up.